Well, good morning and welcome to Bedhead Chat with Chad. It's a special edition. Sorry for everyone that missed you tomorrow. You see, here's the problem with yesterday. By this time yesterday, I was showered, I was shaved, I had clean clothes on, and I did not have a bedhead. I was actually at work. So once again, a salute to all of you that have to get up every single morning. And a salute to the rest of you that woke up this morning with a smile on your face because you checked your bank account and April 15th, tax day, you got a check from Uncle Sam. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm self-employed. I haven't seen a check from Uncle Sam, a solid 15 years. But it was interesting for me to see Uncle Sam paying me for once instead of me paying Uncle Sam. But I still got to pay him later. But that's enough about Uncle Sam. I have a special guest today with me. His name is John. Now, he may or may not be a John that we've told stories about. We'll just have to wait and see. But this is my buddy, John. Oh, he's smiling. This is my buddy, John. John, welcome to the show. How you doing, John?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
John, you're fired. You already messed up the volume from 30 seconds. Your cat walked over your phone and now you don't even have any volume.
What?
Yep. There we go. That's what everybody wanted to hear from you. Okay, well, we'll give John a minute to figure out volume. And meanwhile, I guess if John's volume is out, that means we can tell stories about him. Today's theme on Bedhead Chat with Chad is It's Only a Flesh Wound. Yeah, only a flesh wound. Probably one of my favorite stories ever. And you can start popping out words to me. Oh, Danette says hi to you, John. And Greg goes, I heard of him. Yeah, John has a reputation. You hear him? Because I don't hear him. So he is connecting to audio right now. Let's see if we get him back. John, the Trufflemeister, do we have you?
Can you hear me?
Okay, well, we'll just wait and see what he's got figured out. That's our John for him. Yeah, he didn't follow the rules in the beginning. But so far, he's doing better than my guest last week, Todd. What's this Facebook thing? Huh.
Hello.
So one of my probably favorite stories, as I'm waiting for your words to pop out here on me, is a guy named Bubba. Now, this is if you got a weak stomach,
I think it's on your side.
Just start there. You just came to the wrong place if you have a weak stomach. Because, it's just, John, I would reboot and come back in like you did last time. Oh, we lost him completely now. So this guy named Bubba, this guy was actually, he reminds me a lot of John. He was the John of the Dowagiac era. John was the John of the Buchanan, Michigan era. And Bubba was the Bubba and the John of the Dowagiac era, which is post John. So he would be John's doppelganger. But Bubba always would get himself into trouble. Well, Bubba was a bigger guy, not huge, but kind of like me or John, and he thought he would climb a tree one day. Now, when I grew up climbing trees, us big guys, we can't just, like you skinny guys just climb up and shimmy up a tree. We can't do that. It's not how it works, man. Our bodies aren't made for that. So you got to like climb on, you got to like grab a branch, and then you got to like lift your leg up with one arm and put it up over the branch. And then you got to pull yourself up over. And then you made it to the 3-foot high branch. And then you do this and you're tired. See, I'm tired of even pretending to.
Can you hear me?
I'm tired of even pretending to even try to climb a tree. But Bubba, we have a branch, and he went big, man. He went for a 6-foot branch. 6 feet, not 3 feet, 6 feet. And he went up there and he started doing this climb, and he did that wrap your leg around thing. And he got up and he did the roll part where you kind of roll and try to get your body on top of the tree. And right about the time he got to the top, fell to the ground. Well, when he fell to the ground, and of course we were all out there. And here's the thing about guys. And I don't care what age you are. And you guys can be on here to pretend. John, do we have any volume with you yet?
Do you?
No. Well, we're just going to look at his pretty face. I don't care how old you are as a guy.
I don't know what happened.
When you see somebody get hurt and you don't think they're dead, it's funny. Everybody can hear you but me, evidently, John, so just keep talking.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's funny. And so it was just this crazy thing of, here comes Bubba, he falls, And when he falls,
Yes. The government shutdown. They're shutting down Chad's broadcast. Hello, Chad.
John, you there? Okay, I think I'm back. Man, it is an internet kind of day. Okay, so when John catches up with me, he's going to have to just log back on. So I think I think I'm live. I have no idea. It says I'm live. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm live and I'll talk to myself if I'm not live. But yeah, thank you, Gnome Internet Conspiracy. You're not going to take me down, Gnome Internet. Hey, John, we're back. I hear you now.
Can you
All
hear me?
right, so you're not going to take me down, Gnome Internet. It's just not going to happen. Just no. So where I left off, I don't know where. I was telling the story about Bubba.
You're on top of. He was on top of the tree at the top. He fell off. No matter what age you are.
Gotcha. All right. So here's the funny thing about Bubba. Okay, so it doesn't matter how old you are. You laugh. Well, we're dying laughing because here's the guy like me falls on his butt. He just falls 6 feet from a tree. Well, next thing you know, he's like, oh, and like, okay, maybe he's hurt. Well, we go over and look at him, and let's just say this is his leg, top half of his leg. This is the bottom half of his leg, and this is where his knee is. Well, it looked more like this. So he had like a knee and another knee. So we called 911. Now, grant you, where we lived a block. I'm not even kidding, a block away. Dave Comstock, if you're listening, sorry, man, you don't drive the ambulance. You're a med there. You work in the hospitals, not at the ambulance. A block away. And we called 911 and said, hey, we had a guy, he fell out of a tree and he snapped his leg. And they're like, yeah, right. Are you sure he snapped his leg? It's like, okay, you can see a second knee. If any of you are old enough to remember Joe Theismann's story, Joe Theismann, on TV, live on TV, where he was playing football and he's all of a sudden, snap. That's why they started delaying live TV, I think, is because of Joe Theismann. But the story gets better. So finally, 10 minutes later, literally 10 minutes later, we hear the sirens finally go off from the place that's a block from our house where the ambulances leave. So 10 minutes after the call, and here's this guy laying here with a snapped leg. Okay. Yeah. And so they come and one pulls in the front yard. And then when one comes, they all got to show up, so everyone and their mother showed up at that point. And they get there. And when I'm on the phone with 911 the whole time, and they're like, is he coherent? I'm like, yes. Well, then he didn't break his leg. I'm like, he broke his leg. Can he talk? I'm like, yes, he can talk. Well, then he didn't break his leg. I said, yes, he broke his leg. And every question they would ask me was like, whatever he was going, because he wasn't like in this shock and passed out. They said he didn't break his leg. Well, we get there and they assume, because 911 operator is telling them he didn't break his leg. It's only something I can make, because they come there thinking, no, this guy didn't really break his leg. Well, they get there and they say, oh, and they act like they were in total shock that this guy broke his leg. Well, they start moving around and the guy kicks Bubba in the foot, literally, like, and I don't mean just a little tap. I mean, he actually kicks Bubba in the foot. And this is Bubba's response, like, can you please not do that? There's a guy with his leg snapped and he's laughing, because I told the 911 operator, well, he's laughing. And they're like, oh, he didn't break his leg. Well, here's the sad news, okay? And I'm not trying to get political at all, but Bubba did not have health insurance. Bubba had Medicaid or whatever it is that he has at the age of 18. And because of that, one, they wouldn't give him anything for the pain. They shipped him 45 miles away to a hospital, riding with a broken leg. When he got there, they put him in an immobilizer. They gave him ibuprofen and they sent him home. That was on a Friday. They sent him home for surgery on a Wednesday. So here's the guy with a broken leg, snapped. I mean, we saw we had the x-rays, snapped, like totally snapped, broken leg in an immobilizer with ibuprofen. Well, we went to the hospital on Wednesday for a surgery. And when we came out of the surgery, the nurse was like, did he do it this morning or late last night? Or when I said, oh no, he did it last Friday. They're like, what? But here's this guy, he snapped his leg and he laughed about it. John.
Yes.
I'm going to throw this at you because I know that you got some stories about it's only a flesh wound. So somebody wrote in here, glass window. Oh, no, it says, it says
yeah,
front door window. That's what it says. Go ahead and tell us a story that comes to mind about a front door window.
Thanks, Cleve. I'm sure that's who it was, or somebody that was there. So me and Cleve were wrestling while the Eclipse was closed. It was just during the day. And I told Cleve one rule: don't choke me. I don't like to be choked. Not in that way. And
hey, wait, time out. John, this is a PG-13 bordering on NC-17. This is not rated R.
All right. Well, I didn't give any detail. Anyways, so we wrestled around. Cleve, being the little monkey, 100-pound soaking wet dude he is, spun around the back side of me and put me in a rear naked chokehold. And I flipped out. I couldn't breathe. I was freaking out. I flipped him over my shoulders, and I think my dad was there, and my brother. I went to go push the door open, the door open, the full view glass door, tempered, and my right hand went faster than my left hand, and my right hand went straight through the glass door out of sheer angerness because of Cleve. And it literally sliced off the tip of two of my fingers, which ended up, I had to get surgery on stitches on one, and they wanted to graft skin off of my butt, which led to another probably segment, buttfinger.
Yeah, I've told the buttfinger story, but we thought it'd be better coming from you. So now you've incriminated yourself. So now I never said who it was.
That's fine.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to John Buttfinger. And I can't say his last name, but now you know that it is John, the Buttfinger guy. So, John, do you want to add any other stories before people start giving us words?
Give me 1 second.
Oh, so he runs. See, we start. Hey, somebody throw in the word disc golf. So it's not me. Oh, they got him. Yep. Buttfinger man, Andreas. Yes, that is our Buttfinger man. I'll tell you a story. You know, our family has a very, 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 very high tolerance for pain. I mean, my son, my daughter, and I have a super high tolerance for pain. Jason Little said disc golf. We'll come back to that one in a minute. Wonder where that came from. We have a super high tolerance for pain. And I remember once when my son, now we used to, and I know this is going to sound bad, and this is going to be on internet forever, and you can come back and sue me later and call me a child abuser, but we used to just like, we would smack each other back and forth harder and harder, and just for fun. It's what guys do. Sorry if you think that's inhumane, I apologize, but we would just like, Jeremy would hit me, then I'd hit him, then he'd hit me, then I'd hit him. The problem is our pain tolerance is so high, we just have to give up. we weren't talking like the stupid stuff, just smack, like a spanking or something. Well, we went on this trip and Jeremy was walking and he had his hand on a rail and he had this sliver go right through his thumb. And it hurt. Hey, John, while I'm telling this story, Jason Little threw the word out disc golf. So you got to think of a story that has to do with disc golf while I'm telling the story. And it has to do with some level of pain or embarrassment. So we go to the doctor because I try to take it out and I can't take it out. And the doctor, Jeremy, I always tell my doctors, here's the thing, and maybe some of you are like me. I have a high tolerance with pain. It also means I have a high tolerance for painkillers. So when they give me shots, I learned in the dentist when I was a kid, the first cavity I ever got, they gave me the normal shots and then they started doing the cavity and I could feel it. And they thought it was, oh, you're just a kid, you're just nervous. I'm like, no, I can feel it. And then finally, I just got used to it. I mean, even to the point where when I had carpal tunnel surgery on this hand, this one was, I was under. This one, I didn't want to wait. So I did the old school where I was awake and they just cut. Well, they gave me my normal shots and my doctor believed me at this point because I had proved my pain tolerance. And he gave me a little extra dose of shots. So I got my eyes closed and he's doing my shot. And as soon as he cut into me, I kind of like, ooh, I made a face. He goes, you can feel that? I was like, yeah, it doesn't hurt, but I feel it. He goes, you feel that? I mean, this is, as they're doing surgery, I could feel them cut into my hand. This is the same thing Jeremy has. Well, this guy grabbed Jeremy. I told him, I said, listen, he has a high tolerance rate. You need more than just a simple shot for a kid. Well, he starts to yank Jeremy's fingernail out, and Jeremy starts squealing in pain. And I said, stop. And the guy goes, no, he's just a kid. He's scared. I'm like, he is not a kid. He's scared. And then he did it again. And I grabbed the guy's hand. I yanked it off of my son and said, listen. And I kind of, today's world, I probably could go to jail for grabbing the hand of a doctor, but he was trying to tell me that Jeremy was not feeling it was all in his head. They ended up having to give him 5 shots on his thumb before it numbed enough for they could pull out John, I gave you a little stall time, even though I love that story. High tolerance for pain, man. Oh, I can still remember feeling that. I'm like, go ahead. You can keep doing it. It doesn't hurt. It's kind of cool. Like, no, we can't have you feeling this surgery. John, disc golf story.
Kalamazoo.
Oh, I don't know that story.
You were there. Not the naked part.
Oh, wait, that was you? Wait, John, are you confessing that you're the naked disc golfer?
Yes. From my words.
Hey, wait, before you tell that story, what lesson did you learn from that?
One article at a time, one article of clothing at a time.
So in case you missed it, you need to go back and listen to the story about a guy who's named unnamed, but his first name was John, who got really stinky and muddy. And we made him change his clothes before he got back in the van. But instead of taking one piece off at a time, while the van was running, took all of his clothes off. And we took off and left him sitting there butt naked in the middle of a college disc golf course. But I don't know what John that would be. All right, go ahead, John. Remember, this has got to be entertaining.
I jumped into a water hole, which was a sewer runoff.
Yeah.
And I was picking out disc from the runoff area, the pond, and a couple people had threw their disc in. I was selling it back to them for charging them to get their disc. But I found a bunch of cool discs and kept them in the process, and we're selling them.
Hear the birds chirping in the background?
Kind of live in the woods.
All right, John. The word is truffle shuffle.
Are you trying to get me to do the truffle shuffle?
No, we just need to hear a story about truffle shuffle.
The Goonies, or not the well, the Goonies, where it comes from. Who was the band That
Doesn't matter.
last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, every time that they'd get on the stage, I would do the Mr. Smiley. Oh, did I confess to that too? And do the truffle shuffle for them.
Can you give us an example?
Not off the top of my head.
No, I mean like physically show us.
I knew you were trying to do that.
Come on, let's see the truffle. Everybody, let's hear for John for the truffle shuffle.
Yeah, because they're really.
Hey, we want to be entertained. We came here to be entertained, John. My friend Tammy said, do the truffle shuffle. Tammy, are you sure you wanted that? You got it. You asked for it. You got it. So when I was telling the story about IHOP and about a guy who would go over there and
Oh, the Hooters.
yeah, go ahead and tell him the Hooters story, John. Now you're starting to wake up. This is the John I know and love. Tell him the Hooters story, John.
I used to get dared to go over to Truffle Shuffle and go over to Hooters, which was literally right next to the IHOP that we always go to at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning after a long night at the Eclipse. And it was like 30-minute drive just to get there too. So it wasn't no easy evening.
It was worth it.
It was so worth it. We'd have like 10 people at least with us. Yeah, I would say at least 10 people. Anyways, I would get dared to go next door and just flash them or truffle shuffle in the window to the girls. And got to a point where some of the girls came over to IHOP afterwards and hung out with us one night.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I became pretty cool with the Hooters girls without even literally dining there.
Did you ever get that job you applied for?
That Hooters? No,
Yeah.
They said they didn't have that 2XL in the shirts. And they said that my Hooters weren't big enough. I think they were just mad because I was sexier than them.
So, John, what would you do for $1 back in the day?
I don't remember.
It had to do with your brother.
What? Give him wedgie? Or what?
So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. John and Craig, when they were much younger, they stayed at our club and they were part of the crowd that stayed up after. Like everybody would leave and we had about 10 or 15 kids that would stay until late. Some of them stayed the night.
If you stayed the night though, you had to go to church.
Yes, that was the catch. Good call there, John. And that's when the entertainment really started, like Mr. Smiley Face. But John and Craig would always fight. Would always fight. And if things got slow and we were bored, all you had to do is say, "You ready for this, John?" And then you go with it. Nut check for $1.
Nut
Remember
check
that,
for
John?
Yeah.
And what would you guys do?
Pretty much wrestle until somebody hit each other in the nuts.
Did you ever get the $1?
A few times. Craig's got lucky on me a few times as well. And so did Deshaun.
So what is the worst injury you've ever had, John?
In general?
It's got to be a good story though.
Or at the Eclipse?
At the Eclipse.
At the Eclipse? Probably put my hand through the front door when me and Cleve were wrestling.
You remember any other injuries?
Jumping off of a picnic table at a music festival, and I got a liquid or whatever on my knee, and I couldn't move it. And it was during my birthday. You, Craig, and my dad went to Red Bud Track and Trail Nationals without me.
Oh, I remember that. So, John, How old are you right now?
34.
Okay.
35 in a couple months.
So I need you to share with everybody here. I've known you since you're about how old?
14, 15.
What is your favorite birthday present ever from me?
Getting beat up. / going to Cornerstone.
Going to Cornerstone. Oh, here
Yeah.
comes Cornerstone. Tell a Cornerstone story, and then I'm going to close with a story about you.
So me and Chad, being the jokers I am, Chad was off doing something with, I think, Mike Nyheist or somebody. And
we don't use last names here, but that's okay.
Oh, I got you. I came up with the brilliant idea of making Full Moon Records and trying to lure helpless, needy bands get a record deal. Full Moon Records. Well, I'd sit there and spit out some ideas and get them hooked in, and then I'd bring them over to the Chad wagon or whatever. Your little red.
We had a stage, the whole works. We had a whole setup we look professional.
And they came over, and once they came over, I would pretty much just moon them and say,
"No,
you just
tell them how you did that, though. You show them the marketing art.
And the marketing art by mooning them.
Productions. That was our John. But let me tell you, this guy, back when he was younger, he had guts beyond anyone I've ever met in my life. He would go up to anybody and say anything. And I've seen this guy get more attention from the girls you would never expect. Like
me and Nyheist had that competition.
What was it? Are you a softball player?
It doesn't matter. I just want to flirt with you.
Yeah.
It pissed Nyheist off because he pretty much bowed down to me.
Yeah, so John was quite the ladies' man. Surprisingly, he could pick him up, but yeah. So John, now you made me forget the story I was going to close with. That's what happens when I don't take notes. That's the problem with this show. I just come in here with ideas in my head and I go. I don't take notes. I try to do it randomly so it doesn't feel staged and pre-planned. But the what?
Full Moon Records?
We already did Full Moon Records.
You said you're going to close with it.
I was going to close with this story, and then you got me sidetracked at Cornerstone again. But yeah, so John was one of our guys. Like I said, he would when everything else was dying, he'd make us laugh. He would do anything you'd ask him to do. I mean, within reason. Well, I wouldn't even say within reason.
I was gonna say,
but we had so much fun. Anyone who knows John from those days knows that if you wanted to have a good night out of the town, or a good night in the house, or a good night in the Eclipse, or good night wherever you were, I remember at his graduation party, at his and his brother's graduation party, all we did, and I know this sounds terrible, but unless you know them, it's not as terrible as it sounds. His sisters and I spent 3 hours during the whole graduation party telling stories about John and Craig. That was the whole graduation party, is telling stories about them. Not even, most of them weren't good stories. Like John, just a few, and we can't tell these stories, but for those that are out there that know John, there's the bzzz, there's the granny panties. There's just so many stories we can tell. There's just so many stories to tell. But, you know, it's only a flesh wound. The story to close with is this. John and Craig, when I first met them, you ever had kids in your life that you always thought just needed just needed somebody to just, you know, I'm not a violent person, but John and Craig were just those guys that once in a while, like, someone needs to spank these boys. So on their 18th birthday, I brought the first one in. John, was it you first or Craig first? Do you remember? I think it was you first.
I think it was, but
so
I can't remember.
I brought John in. I said, John, I have a birthday present for you. And I had him sit on the floor of the Eclipse, like on the chair or something. And then I just basically, well, I could go to jail. Well, at least we didn't saran wrap you or pallet wrap you to a pole first.
Oh, Daddy.
We used to pallet wrap people to poles, and
Oh,
yeah,
good.
and then just leave them hanging there. If they were
That
dumb
was
enough to
fun.
let us pallet wrap them to a pole that was like 3 feet off with a chair, I don't know what to tell you. So sometimes you go in there and wonder why are their kids strapped to poles in Chad's place? I mean, there'd be like 4 poles and 4 kids just strapped to poles with marker written all over their faces. And
That was the gross
John,
Olympics.
you remember the time I shaved your head?
Yeah. I think
I'll
you have
close with
video
this
of
one.
that.
So John trusted me. Why? I don't know. If you've heard my stories, people, you should know that there's reasons to not trust me. He asked me to shave his head, like shave it. So I shaved it, but as I shaved it, I had a permanent marker on the razor. So every time I shaved, it was putting permanent marker wherever I shaved. I'm like, oh, I missed a spot over there. By the time he's done, his whole head is covered in black permanent marker.
Crazy.
And of course, this was the night of a concert. This was on a Friday night. By the time he was done, he allowed me to with permanent marker, paint a whole clown face on his head. So he already had the black permanent marker all over his bald head. And then I painted with permanent marker a clown face on him. But yeah, John and Craig, you guys are awesome. You've been good sports. I don't know how you put up with me your whole life because, you know, your brother caught on fire. You have a butt finger. I mean, there's so many other stories to tell, but it's been great. John, you got any last words for my bedhead chat with Chad crowd?
Don't ever believe Chad.
Hey, that's the old Chad, the evil Chad. He doesn't exist anymore. He's dead. He died in a tornado.
Sounds like me inside. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone else included, it's been Bedhead Chat with Chad. Let's say thanks to our buddy John. If only this was a rated R version, you would hear some stories that you didn't ever want to hear in your life. But because that's John. But hey, don't forget, no showers, no shaving. Heck, I mean, I had to shave and shower yesterday. It was terrible. But don't do any of that stuff to join us. Be back tomorrow. Friday, little change up for Friday. I'm not only going to tell stories, but I'm going to open it up on on Zoom that I'm going to invite you in to tell stories. So there'll be more details coming Thursday of how you can join Bedhead Chat with Chad and tell your own story on Friday. So I will see you. Have a great day. We're out.